the Director of the Program, Risenga Maluleke, the Under-Secretary of the UN DESA, Mr. Wu Hongpo, His Excellency Michael Gerber, the Special Envoy for Global Sustainable Development, Mr. Stefan Schweinfest, Director of UN Statistics Division, Dr. Mphahlele, Stats SA Council, Dr. Paddy Lehohla, Statistician General of South Africa, the MEC from Gauteng, Mamamulo, Ms. Zenthia Limbeck, the member of the Mayoral Council in the City of Cape Town, distinguished dignitaries, members of the diplomatic corps, non-governmental organizations that are present here today, statistics, fraternity and sorority, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to convey fraternal greetings from the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Jacob Zuma, who could not be here this afternoon due to pressing state responsibilities. In his absence, I have the honor and the privilege of addressing this august occasion. It is a rare occurrence that one gets to be in the company of global experts who are entrusted with the measurement of every facet of life. The hosting of this very important gathering, the United Nations World Data Forum on African soil, is of great international significance as it focuses on sharpening the tools for the use of new technology and the deployment of advanced techniques in the world. I'm pleased also that I am on safe home ground advantage, flanked by the Statistician General, Dr. Lehohla, and his regiment of experts from Stats SA. We're also pleased that our country, South Africa, was chosen as the host of this important forum. This gesture is an affirmation of the capability of our country and the African continent to host such a very important global occasion. This gathering also takes its baton from other summits that we have hosted as the African continent, notably the World Summit on Sustainable Development, the WSSD, in Johannesburg in 2002, as well as the 56th session of the International Statistical Institute held in Durban in 2009. The Johannesburg World Sustainable Development followed on the Stockholm and Rio de Janeiro summits, which we all know the impact that they've had on the manner the world attends to matters of development that now can look back and hope to achieve development. Working in a balanced manner, the world can now look back and hope to achieve development through the three pillars of the 2002 World Summit on Sustainable Development, namely economic development, social development, and environmental protection. Therefore, sustainability is progressive and only sound policies can attain development. Sound policies cannot achieve sustainability without measurement tools and good measurement. The world has never known any other form of measurement without data since the invention of counting as a tool for the humankind. Today, data has become so critical in our daily lives that we hardly ever notice its use in every facet of our lives. It has become like an oxygen that we all breathe. The only time we realize that we have a challenge is when it is no longer available. Program Director, it is hard to imagine how our forebears had to contend over a millennia with the notion of what world they could have lived as we have come to inherit us today. The only way we can imagine how the world would look like in the future is through the data that is at our disposal today. The quest for good life, the quest for greener pastures, has forced humankind to always search for innovative, necessary, and attendant mechanisms to make life as palatable. We know that species that have failed to adapt to new environments or to prevailing challenges in their surroundings have always become obsolete. It is encouraging, therefore, that the practitioners of data and information in the world have deemed it fit to meet from time to time, as is presently the case in this gathering, to assess their relevance in providing data to the world at play. The work of those like us in Polkal office must be complemented by the expertise of technocrats like yourselves who provide the necessary indicators. As political leaders, we define the what should be measured, while those of you as experts in measuring the define of how it should be measured. We should further be within our remit to direct those who measure to take the agenda further while protecting its integrity, to share information about the feasible policy options that are there. In that way, we will ensure that institutions of state provide a stable framework for governance with anticipation that reduces uncertainties and structures collective action. Distinguished delegates, I'm told that the French military strategist and political leader, Napoleon Bonaparte, liked statistical data to such an extent that he would do anything for anyone who gave him statistics. Not only did he like statistics, he had no patience with mediocre statisticians. He tended to prefer those who would give him specific, focused information for purposes of conscription, requisitions, taxes, and wartime management of the economy. I suppose many of us would do anything for anyone who would give us the winning lottery numbers. In our part of the world, here in Southern Africa, we had the majestic King Shaka, who founded the Zulu nation, who, despite the fact that he could neither read nor write, had passion for statistical information. He would always pester his trusted military general, Mbopha Dasitai, to regale him from time to time about the multitudes of people in the Zulu kingdom who were like the number of hair strands in a buffalo skin, the pebbles of sand at sea, or the number of stars in the sky. It is therefore very clear that in our modern society, effective governance is almost impossible without statistics, as they provide essential information about our populace. Nations bestow the reins of independence to those who exercise their charge with the highest levels of integrity, to discharge their duties with national interest at heart. The United Nations fundamental principles of official statistics enjoined us to remember that in the area of official statistics, independence, integrity means that the National Statistical Office and its products should not suffer under political influence. To be charged with such a responsibility means that those in such a public office must always ensure that the numbers they produce should meet the veracity of the test of time. This test of time cannot be defined only by the scientific prescripts, but also by how much we have changed the lives of our people for the better. Distinguished delegates, a great son of Africa and the former president of Tanzania is credited with this famous statement, and I quote, "You cannot develop people, you must allow people to develop themselves. If real development is to take place, the people have to be involved," close quote, Julius Nyerere. True freedom prevails only when leaders and those they lead agree on the rules of governance, no matter what the arrangements may be. The people of Brittany, an erstwhile cultural region in northwestern France, just before the Great French Revolution, once called upon the king to ensure that justice prevailed, stating that we express our most sincere desire for but one king, one law, one weight, and one measure. We have always known in the developing world that whenever the stakes are high, the function of statistics will be called into action. The colonization of Africa and other parts of the world has seen the deployment of statistics where numbers even trumped methods to justify the oppressive and divisive edifice that was at construct. Colonization was not only a political construct, but a social and economic construct that derived from the violent discourse to a hegemonic assimilation of even ideas and control of knowledge, as we saw here in South Africa. The rolling back of the colonial outreach has seen the use of statistics to justify the emergence of new nations the world over. And 2 years after our democracy in South Africa in 1994, this beloved country conducted its first ever census under a democratic dispensation. On the 20th of July 1998, on the occasion of the launch of Census 96 result, our icon Nelson Mandela, which you saw on the screen shortly, reminded us, and I quote, "The census itself was one of the defining milestones in building our new nation. It will take time to absorb the full detail of this intricate picture of our complex society, but the broad outlines should act as a clarion call to rededicate ourselves in every sector of our society to the historic mission of a generation charged with transforming South African society in order to eradicate the poverty and the imbalances that derive from our past," close quotes. Our people all over the world are yearning for a meaningful life. Newspaper article on Monday, the 9th of January 2017, carried the story of a young man, Goundo Wandianga, from Sare Bakari village in Casamance in Senegal. Only 21 years old, Goundo laments that he is the last young man left in his village when all others are gone as far as Europe in search of greener pastures. For those of us in charge of policy directives, and those of you who are charged of measurement, we need to inspire young people like Goundo with hope. We need to ensure that the people that we lead are able to reach their fullest potential in life. The Sustainable Development Goals enjoins us on the hip so that no one can be left behind like that young man Goundo. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the major developments on the African continent was the adoption of Africa's Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. This elaborate program can only succeed if we all put our shoulders to the wheel. I cannot imagine how Agenda 2063, with its inherent strategies like the integration agenda and the industrialization strategy, can succeed without solid measurement regime. A successful Agenda 2063 forms part of the post-2015 development agenda. We will recall that the post-2015 development agenda takes us forward within the context of sustainable development goals. So, our own national programs in South Africa, we take pride in its comprehensive National Development Plan, our NDP, which has gained support across all political parties within our multi-party democratic system, as well as within civil society. We expect the National Development Plan to deliver substantive results by year 2030. That way, our country, South Africa, will stake her claim within the world stage of development. Ladies and gentlemen, those of us in public office have to make our governments more accessible, more accountable to the people that they represent. Open government cannot succeed without data that is freely available, that is accessible to all its citizens. This way, the common men and women will continue to be meaningful beyond the data through which we present them. Numbers will form the bedrock of a better life for all. Technological innovations will always happen to challenge our thinking and also usher in a new order. The world is currently seized with the need for faster data on our fingertips all the time. The proliferation of tablets, smartphones, and other electronic gadgets makes it ever possible to collect data and process it instantly. A happy user, a satisfied customer, means that they will be back again for more and better data, even in advanced form. The challenge, therefore, for those like you in the areas of official statistics is how you can turn your organizations around to meet the needs of all clients. Let those who have waited for too long for information have a positive impact on their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this moment on behalf of Stats SA to confer awards in recognition of the exceptional contribution that have been made by many individuals in the field of statistics. Without any further ado, I would like to announce that Ms. Amina Mohammed, who is the current Deputy Secretary General of the UN, Ms. Catherine Wallman, the current Chief Statistician in the US Office of Management and Budget, Professor Enrico Giovannini, a distinguished academic in the field of economics and statistics, Professor Hans Rosling, a distinguished health professional who has gone to develop a software that makes statistics interesting by use of animation. We would like to congratulate all those that have been mentioned today. I do trust Thank you. I do trust that this gesture by Stats SA will encourage all of you to work even harder in your area of work so that your contribution can be duly recognized. Let me wish you well on your deliberations over the next few days, and may we all witness more gatherings of the World Data Forum in the future. I thank you. You are most welcome.